Hello, Miss Roberts here for Earthquakes in the Early Morning. I'm sorry it's not the early morning, but hey, at least I'm doing this still. So we are on there's a prologue. We are on the prologue. One summer day in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, a mysterious treehouse appeared in the woods. 8-year-old Jack and his 7-year-old sister Annie climbed into the treehouse. They found that it was filled with books. Jack and Annie soon discovered that the treehouse was magic. It could take them to the places in the books. All they had to do was point to the picture and wish to go there. Along the way, Jack and Annie discovered the treehouse belongs to Morgan Le Fay. Morgan is a magical librarian from Camelot, the long-ago kingdom of King Arthur. She travels through time, space, and space gathering books. In Magic Treehouse's book 5 through 8, Jack and Annie helped him free Morgan from a spell. In books 9 through 12, they solved 4 ancient riddles and became master librarians. In Magic Treehouse books 13 through 16, Jack and Annie had to save 4 ancient stories from being lost forever. In Magic Treehouse books 17 through 20, Jack and Annie freed a mysterious little dog from a magic spell. In Magic Treehouse books 21 to 24, Jack and Annie have a new challenge. They must find 4 special kinds of writing for Morgan's library to help save Camelot. They are about to set off to find the third of these. I think that might be a typo, because aren't we off to find the fourth? Because we have the one from the Civil War, the one for the Revolutionary War, and the one from the Prairie. So I think we're going for the fourth. I don't know. It definitely says third, but we'll see. Chapter 1, Tweet, Tweet. Jack sat up in bed. He stared out his window. The sky was dark gray. The sun would be rising soon. It's almost time, he whispered to himself. The day before, in the Magic Treehouse, Morgan's note said, "Come back tomorrow in the early morning." Jack jumped out of bed. He put on his jeans and t-shirt, then he grabbed his backpack and crept out into the hall. Jack peeked into Annie's room. She wasn't there. He slipped downstairs and out of the front door. Annie was sitting on the porch steps. Jack sat down beside her. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I was waiting for the birds to start singing," said Annie. "Then I was going to wake you up." Jack and Annie watched the sky go from dark gray to light gray. Then the birds began their song. "Tweet, tweet," said Annie. Without another word, Jack and Annie left their porch. They headed up their street to the Frog Creek woods. It was cool beneath the trees. Jack and Annie hurried through the woods to the rope ladder. It hung from the tallest oak. At the top of the oak was the Magic Treehouse. They climbed into the treehouse. It was barely light inside. Annie picked up the note lying on the floor. She held it up to the window and read it aloud. "Dear Jack and Annie, Camelot is in trouble. To save the kingdom, please find these 4 special kinds of writing for my library. Something to follow, something to send, something to learn, and something to lend. Thank you, Morgan." Jack took a deep breath. "Okay, we have our first special writing, from a list from the Civil War. We have our second," said Annie, "a letter from the Revolutionary War. We have the third," said Jack, "a poem from the Pioneer School. Now we just need one more." I was right, it was a typo. That's funny, said Annie. "I wonder why we have to find these special writings for Morgan's library," said Jack. "How are they going to save Camelot?" "I don't know," said Annie, "but let's get going so we can solve the mystery. Where's our research book?" They looked around the treehouse. Their Pennsylvania book, the book that always brought them home, was lying in the corner. Beside it was another book. Annie picked it up. "This is it," she said softly. She showed the book's cover to Jack. It said, "San Francisco, California, 1906. "California?" said Jack. "I've always wanted to go to California." What about you all? Have you always wanted to go to California? "Me too," said Annie. She laughed. "I guess I told Miss Me too," said Annie. She laughed. "I guess I told Miss Neely the truth, after all." "Yeah," said Jack, smiling. The Magic Treehouse had taken them to the Pioneer School in the last adventure. There, Annie had told their teacher, Miss Neely, that they were on their way to California. Annie pointed to the cover of the California book. We really wish we could go there," she said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 2. Thunder Under the Ground. Nice clothes, said Annie. Jack opened his eyes. Annie was wearing a blue and white dress with a big sailor collar and white stockings. Jack was wearing brown knee-length pants, a jacket, a cap, and a tie. His backpack had become a leather bag. He and Annie both wore short lace-up boots. The church bell started to ring. Gong, 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 gong. It rang 5 times, said Jack. It must be 5 in the morning. Yeah, said Annie. She was looking out the window. Jack looked with her. The early morning air felt fresh and cool. The treehouse had landed in a tree that was at the bottom of a hill. Painted wooden houses and gas lights lined a quiet cobblestone street. A trolley car moved along tracks up the street. It rounded the top of the hill and disappeared. Tall buildings towered farther off. The sun was behind them, making pink streaks in the blue sky. It's really pretty here, said Annie. Yeah, said Jack. He opened the research book and read. On Wednesday, April 18th, 1906, San Francisco was the biggest city in the west coast of the United States. It had a population of 500,000 people. It was also one of the loveliest cities in the country. Jack pulled out his notebook. He wrote, San Francisco, April 18, 1906. Biggest city in the West. Lovely. Let's go, Annie said impatiently. Jack looked back at the book. He wanted to learn more. Now, said Annie. She took the book and the notebook away from him and put them into his leather bag. Let's not waste any more time. Annie left the treehouse. Doing research is not wasting time, Jack called after her. But he slung his bag over his shoulder and followed Annie down the rope ladder. When they had both stepped onto the grass, Jack looked around. Where to, he said. Anywhere, said Annie. Let's just explore and see the sights. We can be tourists. Okay, said Jack, but don't forget, we have to find our writing for Morgan's library. They started up the cobblestone street. As they walked up the steep hill, the sun rose above the tall buildings. The early light turned everything to gold. Stones, street lamps, and the glass windows of the silent houses. It's so quiet and peaceful, said Annie. Yeah, everyone must be still sleeping, said Jack. Suddenly, out of the quiet came a deep, rumbling noise. Jack stopped. He grabbed Annie's arm. What's that? He said. The noise got louder. It sounded like thunder coming from under the ground. The earth started to shake. Church bells changed wildly. The whole street began to move. The cobblestones rolled like waves on the ocean. What's happening? Annie cried. Chimneys fell off roofs. Gas lights toppled over. Bricks crashed to the street. Get down, shouted Jack. Cover your head. Jack and Annie crouched on the ground with their arms over their heads. All around them was rumbling, clanging, crashing, and breaking. When the world grew still, the rumbling stopped. Jack and Annie raised their heads. The air was filled with dust. It's over, said Jack. That must have been an earthquake, said Annie. I think so, Jack agreed. I guess I should have let you do a little bit more research on this place, Annie said. Yeah, probably, said Jack. Except I don't know exactly what we would have done. Jack slowly stood up. His legs felt wobbly. As he brushed off his pants, the deep rumbling came again, louder than before. When the terrible shaking started, it was even harder than before. Jack was hurled to the ground. The earth trembled and quaked. Jack bounced against the hard cobblestones. Annie, he cried. He tried to stand but fell again. Through the dusty air, he saw the tall buildings swaying against the sky. Roofs were caving in. Up and down the street, bricks, glass, and concrete showered down. It seems like a long time before the dreadful noise and shaking finally stopped. Oh no, this doesn't sound like a fun place at all. But we did have a clue with earthquakes in the morning. I will be right back with chapters 3 and 4.